We all love living in a beautiful place, right? That ocean breeze, the mild temperatures, it's perfect. But what if I told you that very same paradise is waging a secret war on one of your home's most expensive systems? It's a pretty serious question to ask. Could the very air you're breathing, the thing that makes your home so wonderful, actually be destroying your HVAC system from the inside out? Well, we're going to get to the bottom of it.
So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the hidden impact of your climate. Then we'll dive into the science of why coastal air is so destructive. We'll look at the warning signs that your system is in trouble, how to actually fight back, and wrap up with some really handy rules of thumb every homeowner needs to know.
Okay, let's jump right in. Section 1 is all about your climate's hidden impact, or as we're calling it, the paradox of a perfect paradise. You know, you can have two houses just a few miles apart, but they might as well be in different worlds. That's a microclimate. A home inland, it deals with pretty standard weather. But if you're on the coast, you're living in a special zone. You're getting hit with a constant barrage of salt and humidity all year long. And let me tell you, that combination is an absolute nightmare for machinery. So, how does this all actually work? Well, that brings us to Section 2, the coastal corrosion problem. Think of it as a science lesson in salt versus steel. Wow, just listen to this. 5 years. That's not a typo. You could lose 2/3 of the lifespan of a major expensive appliance just because of where it's located. That salt spray from the ocean is basically giving your HVAC unit a slow, never-ending acid bath. And this chart just paints the picture so clearly. A standard unit might get you a solid 15 years inland, but move that exact same machine to the coast, and boom, you could be down to just 5 years. But look at that third bar. That's the key. This isn't a hopeless situation. If you get the right equipment, the coastal-ready stuff, you can get most of that lifespan right back. It just takes a different strategy. We know the why, but what does this attack actually look like to you, the homeowner? Let's get into Section 3, a system under attack. These are the telltale signs that your HVAC is in a losing battle. So here's the fundamental problem. The parts in a standard HVAC unit are built for a world that just doesn't exist on the coast. They're designed assuming the air is, pretty neutral. But the reality for coastal homes is this aggressive, salty, moist air that just gets into everything. It causes the coils, the electrical parts, even the metal box itself to rust and fail way, way sooner than they should. And this is how you'll feel it inside your house. These are the distress signals. Your energy bill suddenly shoots through the roof. That means your AC is working way too hard. The air coming out feels warm? You've probably got a leak. And those musty, weird smells, that could be mold growing because of all the humidity. These are all clues that the unseen enemy is winning. Let's pop the hood for a second and see what's really going on. That warm air? It's often because salt has literally eaten tiny holes in the aluminum fins, and the refrigerant is leaking out. The electrical problems? Well, in a mild climate, the system is constantly turning on and off, and that constant cycling just wears out the crucial parts that start and run the whole thing. And all that humidity creates the perfect dark, damp breeding ground for mold inside your air ducts. Yikes. Okay, that's enough doom and gloom. We've laid out the problem, now let's talk solutions. It's time for Section 4, fighting back with science, or what we're calling the coastal defense strategy. The pros who really know coastal systems don't just guess. They have a plan. First, they do systematic tests to find the actual root of the problem, not just the symptom you're seeing. Then, they lay out clear options using parts that are specifically built for a salt air environment. And this is so important. After the repair, they test everything again to prove it's running exactly the way the manufacturer intended. It's a real, methodical fix, not just a patch-up job. And here's the bottom line. You cannot fight a coastal climate with inland tools. It just won't work. The real solution means using completely different equipment. We're talking marine-grade parts, special protective coatings that act like armor for the delicate coils, and a maintenance plan that's all about washing away those corrosive salt deposits. You gotta have the right gear for the battle. All right, to wrap things up, let's get into our final section, which is full of practical advice you can actually use. Section 5, HVAC Rules of Thumb, designed to empower you. Okay, this is a fantastic little tool for that big, stressful repair or replace decision. It's called the $5,000 rule. Just take your system's age, in years, and multiply it by the estimated cost of the repair. If that number comes out to more than $5,000, it's a really strong sign that you're probably better off financially just replacing the whole thing. And don't forget, just getting a professional to come out and figure out what's wrong is going to cost you something. In a place like San Diego, you can pretty much expect to pay somewhere between $75 and $150 for that initial visit. It's good to know that number so you can budget for it and know if a deal sounds too good to be true. Now, here's a tip that is totally free and could save you a ton of money. It's the 3-minute rule. If you ever shut off your AC, maybe at the breaker or the thermostat, never ever turn it right back on. If you just wait 3 minutes, it lets all the pressure inside the system balance out. This prevents a huge amount of stress on the compressor, the heart of the system. Most new thermostats do this automatically, but it's still a great habit to know. This table really just lays it all out, doesn't it? If you're inland, you can get a good 15 to 20 years out of your system. Move to the coast, even a few miles in, and that drops to maybe 10 or 12. But if you're right on the water, man, you could be looking at a new system in just 5 to 7 years. It shows you that location truly is everything. So we'll leave you with this one last thought to chew on. Now that you know your beautiful climate is this constant, invisible force, take a good hard look at your home's most vital system and ask yourself, is it really prepared for the battle it's fighting day in and day out?